Hello and welcome back. Well, this white background is pretty boring. Let me change it. There, much better. Furries have received tons of hate for decades, and it's no surprise that most people don't like them, especially the internet. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think gave furries a bad name? According to people I had talked to myself and a poll I did, most of you said that the media was the one responsible for the negative behavior that people have towards furries. And later of you said furries were the ones or a combination of both. What I'm about to talk about is what I think caused the negative outlook towards furries that people have. I won't be blaming just the media, but I will look at both furries and the media. Let me say this again. This is what I think. And I don't want to make this look like something against furries, since this is my first video talking about something that may spark some arguments, and I myself haven't done that video related to the furry fandom on my channel, since I myself am one. Look at me, I may not look like one, but pretty sure you haven't seen a furry content creator that uses a stick figure. But since this is my first video about furries, I wanted to take a different approach on this. I came across a video about furries by Frederick Nutze. Furries down the rabbit hole. The title fits perfectly. But after watching the video and hearing the entire history of the furry fandom by this guy, it made me think, is this how furries began to gain a bad reputation in the public eye after making cons? If you look on Frederick's video, the part where furries began to make their cons mostly standed out to me, and was the part that made me think about the start of furry negativity, and this video will be what I think how the furry got its bad reputation within the media and general public. Before I made this video, I checked all over YouTube that talk about furry hate. Although there is some videos that explain on the reasons of why and how furries get hate, they seem to have a similar but different way on explaining their claims, either using news, shows, media, public opinion, and etc. But I still haven't seen any videos that use the past of the furries to explain the hate they get. As you may know or don't know, they were firstly known as animal fans. They grew with the help of the internet and changed their names into furries. And yeah, that's all. I won't even waste time on the entire history before they were called furries, because that takes a lot of time. The now so-called furries began creating and advertising their room parties known as furry parties, with suggestive material, I guess. This one has pretty big melons. And why is it looking at the viewer like that? I don't know, maybe it's to attract more people? But obviously these kind of images would certainly attract the right group of furries, right? Right? Certainly this won't attract any horny people. But not all of them had suggestive material like this one. Although since there was nothing recorded on what actually happened behind those rooms, it certainly made the fandom grow bigger, slowly filling up the rooms, into the point that made the very first Conference 0. Conference 0 was obviously small, being that 90 people signed up, but 65 only showed up. Being that one of them came in fursuit, and yeah, you get the picture and started to dance. Yeah, you're watching it, yeah, of course. Obviously, that's no big deal. After all, Conference 0 was kinda of a test con. Certainly they could do better over the next years. Several years passed and furries had expanded at a fast rate thanks to the World Wide Web and their successful cons. That was a success for the furry fandom. The more they grew, the better it was. Or was it? Oh, Jesus! But there's a catch. Just like any fandom that grows at a fast rate, they will face the inevitable that most fandoms experience, and it wasn't good news. Sure, each furry con was always a success, encouraging more growth of fans, but the reputation for wellness along with the stereotypes only grew more also. On February 8, 1997, a man by the name of Ed Client sent a letter to the co-founder and director of Conference, Mark Merlino. Before I read the letter, I wasn't able to get a lot of information on who Ed Client was. The only Ed Client I get is this guy. Back to the letter, I will only read the parts where Ed Client complains about the things he witnessed because the letter is pretty damn long. If you wanna read the entire letter, it will be down on the description below. Mark, this letter is in regards to a serious problem that we encountered at Conference 8. I direct this letter at you personally because I assume you're still in charge and responsible for the convention in general. I say I assume because certain matters have made me question your authority regarding the running of this con. It is well known that you have been on the internet conversing with members of alternative lifestyles and encouraging their involvement with the convention. I have absolutely no problem with them or their involvement. I do, however, question anyone or group that you willingly invite to participate in the convention that have absolutely no interest or appreciation of the premise of the convention. In essence, the love antros of all sorts, which was to be, I believe, the original idea for the con, unless I'm mistaken. I'm bringing this up because of certain incidents we encountered at the convention. Oh boy, this is where things go down. On Thursday, the day of my arrival, on our way to get something to eat at the hotel coffee shop, we watched two young men deliberately waiting for what we saw to be mundanes. See them and proceed to deep throat each other in a rather blatant manner in the hotel lobby, obviously getting a kick out of offending these people. This went on for the period of time it took us to get across the lobby and into the coffee shop. They were still there when we left. This behavior is immature, disgusting, and we assume has nothing to do with the convention. I wonder with what or how they were deep-throating though. This will have offended me and my group no matter whether those making that display were homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, or otherwise. This behavior is offensive anytime and anywhere. Besides that, what the hell was one of you security doing walking around in drag? What's that got to do with the so-called premise of the convention along with not aiding in a conference people will be feeling approaching security? That was very immature and unprofessional. Now this next part, it's kinda messy, so please don't report me. There was a situation in an elevator Saturday evening when I was taking some important guests back to my room for business. We were discussing said business in the elevator on our way up to the room when one of the gentlemen with me leaned back against the wall, as most people do. When he found his side and pants covered in semen, some diseased bottom feeder couldn't contain himself and squirted all over the wall. This goes way beyond disgusting and immature. We overheard others on more than one occasion ask, "What's a furry?" and received the answer, "I don't know, I'm just here for the parties and sex." I heard the S word, get down or you'll be shot!
Do you know why you are here?
Because I did something bad?
Exactly. So, tell me, why do you say the S word?
I was reading a letter and happened to have the sex word.
Ah, what the fuck?
What the hell, man? Why are you doing this?
First, don't ever call me a woman. I'm a strong, independent CEO. I know how to handle things and make things greater. You content creators make me sick. You're making YouTube real unsafe when you say the wrong things and bad words. I demonetize you because I'm doing it for the greater good of YouTube. Or maybe because I'll lose money.
What?
Ah, nothing. You didn't hear anything of sort. Point is, I will demonetize you if it offends me or is something really controversial.
In that case, I will say the N-word.
Don't you dare, or I will eliminate you like I did to an offensive YouTuber. Ah! He promoted terrorism.
Oh really? Who? Hey! That was my favorite content creator. You know what, lady? I will say the N-word. What happened? Gee, that was strange. You can read the rest of the letter down on the description below. Ed's client's letter to Mark Merlino makes it sound like a lot of primitive animal savagery happened during the convention, while staff did little to enforce the rules and regulations. Although there's no footage or pictures that explain all of the savagery that happened in that con, just for the sake of the video, I'll just say it happened. Not because I want to rush this, but because of this letter and what Wikifur also says about Conference 8 about being wild and such. One thing I can say is that the costumes, they were hella creepy.
It's fun to just cut loose once in a while, go wild.
I'm glad I don't see that in today's fandom. Let me ask you a question to you. What would you do if you saw something shocking or wild? In my case, I would talk about it with someone else, because we're a social species and I want to share a story that will entertain that person I'm talking to. The point of this question is that people who weren't in the cons being furry or non-furs, and if by any chance these people actually saw the wildness happen on these cons, most likely they'll talk about it with other people, and depending on what they say to that person they're talking to, that person will most likely be influenced and believe what he was told. Obviously, in order for that person to believe him, he will have to provide information where exactly he saw it. And of course, they could have mentioned, well dude, you won't believe this, but I was in a con and I saw a lot of crazy and cool shit happen. I saw this, I saw that, this happened, and then this resulted. Whoa, where exactly did you saw this? On a con? What con? On a furry con. What's a furry? It's my time to convert you. And so the conversation went on. Of course, we cannot forget that leader number 1 is going to explain the savagery more to number 2, because number 2 seems to be more interested in the story. But here's one thing, if you know something about people, they'll most likely remember what they find the most enticing or weird. Oh look, they finished talking. They are now saying goodbye to each other. I wonder what leader number 2 will do now. Oh, that's great, he's engaging in a group conversation. Isn't that cool? That's gonna help the fandom grow. Now it seems that number 2 is talking about furries. Something new he learned after talking to number 1. It appears that number 2 is now talking about the cool and crazy stuff that number 1 told him about. Well, that's weird. I think they seem to like the crazy stuff even more than the cool artistic stuff. Oh no. Now the topic is spreading. To make things worse, they are only remembering the savagery stuff. Are you fucking kidding me? Now they're twisting the story just to make their conversation more intriguing. Look what you had done, number 1. What do you mean you aren't the only one? Ah, for fuck's sakes! Keep in mind that I'm not blaming every single furry, but it's the fact that odd situations tend to stand out more, especially the adult stuff. This isn't even it. The World Wide Web also helped spread the bad side of the fandom drastically, since whatever you say on the net, it will stay there, and a lot of people are gonna see that. And if you're someone big, then obviously that can influence someone's personal opinions and begin making assumptions. When something like this begins to happen, the media tends to pick up stories and have the tendency to twist things around to attract the audience. I wouldn't even doubt if that's how CSI got the idea to make the episode Fur and Loathing, or Carry 11 News portraying furries in a way that would discourage the audience from thinking about them positively. Ugh, I still can't get that body paint out of my mind. This isn't even over yet.
Oh, fuck you, faggot.
The fuck?! Hey, well, we would love to have another convention in your pretty hotel. I forgot about that one too. Oh, you're still watching? Great! Hey, that's my power. So far, this video just feels like it's talking bad about furries. But don't be discouraged. Furries also have good stuff, like those cute or amazing fursuits, the lack of fights, and the fact that most of them are nice and welcome anyone into the fandom and are really supportive group. Only reason why I'm in, but that's for later. And we can't forget that they make great, if not beautiful art, and that's what the fandom mostly looks at. Except for this one, I hope. But unfortunately, no matter the wonderful stuff they had created, the things they had done, how nice most individuals are, and how widespread they are. But aside from those, the fandom still seems to have weights on hate and a smudge from their past. Thanks to the media, but also because what some furries had done in the past that stand it out and help the media pick up. On the bright side, even though furries are still despised by most people, there's been some media that has featured furries in a positive way. Whoa, what are you doing? Hey no! This is my goddamn video! Like Lisa Ling, NBC News, Billy J.D. Porter, BBC Radio, Vice, JD again, BBC 3, BuzzFeed. Even though BuzzFeed isn't the most liked, it still represented the furries in a good way. Jonathan Hales, even though I'm not even sure he's being literal.
Shut up! That's it! That's it!
I'm gonna bang you really hard, trust me.
Oh, even Big Man Tyrone and Noompaville. By the way, he already exceeded 15,000 likes, so he should be fine at first with already. And there's probably more out there. Overall, it's not just the media's fault for giving the furry fandom a bad name, but it's also partly the fandom's fault. The media just made it bigger and worse. The fandom can't just pretend that their mess-ups just didn't happen. It's always great to stay aware of our past and learn from that mistake so we can reflect and do better next time to raise our reputation up, at least to remove some dirt away. But it's still fascinating to see how much furries had grown over the couple past years, regardless of the hate they get. Huh? You again? Huh. Goodbye. I don't have anything else to say other than keep doing wonderful positive stuff, regardless the obstacles they are introduced. That is all for this video. I don't ask for much, but if you liked the video, make sure to like it, share it, or subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos. Other than that, have a great day and be chilled.